Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Super Quick Learn. In this video, we will be talking about AWS service SQS, that is Simple Queue Service. This is one of the first service hosted by AWS, and also in the end we will be discussing some important points and some exam tips. So stay tuned and let's get started. SQS, that is Simple Queue Service, is a hosted queue service provided by AWS. This enables you to integrate and decouple various components of your application. You will get a web service API and can be accessed from AWS Management Console, AWS CLI, or even via SDKs. It is based on the polling mechanism, means the receiver must poll the queue to fetch the messages. We will discuss more about types of polling in upcoming slides. It can be accessed using VPC endpoint if you don't want to go through the internet. And the VPC endpoints for SQS is powered by AWS Private Link. Let's talk about some benefits or features of SQS. First one is security. You can control who can send and receive message from an SQS queue. Server-side encryption lets you transmit sensitive data by protecting content of messages on the queue using KMS, that is Key Management Service. Second one is durability. To ensure the safety of your messages, SQS stores messages on multiple servers. Standard queues support at least one message delivery and FIFO queues support exactly one message processing. We'll discuss more about the type of queues and the type of deliveries in the later slide. Third one is availability. It uses redundant infrastructure to provide highly concurrent access to messages and high availability for producing and consuming messages. Next is scalability. SQS can process each request independently, scaling transparently to handle any load increase or any spikes without any manual intervention. Next one is reliability. SQS logs your message during processing so that multiple producers can and multiple consumers can receive messages at the same time. Next one is customization. Your queues don't have to be exactly alike. You can set different properties or you can use different types of queues for different purposes. For example, for a queue you can set a default delay on a queue, or you can store the content of the message larger than 256 KB using Amazon SQS or Amazon S3 or Amazon DynamoDB, not SQS. So that SQS will be holding a pointer to the Amazon S3 object and you can get the whole object from S3. Or if the message is of larger size, you can split the message into multiple messages and then send it on the queue. So there are multiple scenarios you can use. So it's not necessary that you have to use all the properties same on all the queues. So that is what customization means. So these are some basic features or the benefits of SQS which you can utilize and use. SQS provides two types of queues. Default one is a standard queue and the other option is FIFO, that is first in first out queue. Let's first discuss about standard queue. It provides almost unlimited throughput. That means you can make almost unlimited number of API calls per second. Message will be delivered at least once, but at times more than one copy of a message can be delivered. So if we are using standard queue, duplicate handling should be implemented at the receiver end. No guarantee on order delivery of message. So considering these pros and cons of standard queue, best use cases of these types of queues are decoupling the user request from intensive background work. In this case, you can provide acknowledgement to the end user and process the work asynchronously. Multiple nodes can be added to process high workload or batch message from future processing. So all these use cases where standard queue can be used or should be used. Other one is FIFO queue. This provides high throughput. So if you are batching, FIFO queue support up to 3000 transactions per second per API method. What are the API methods like send message batch, receive message batch, or delete message batch? The 3000 transactions represent 300 API calls, each with a batch of 10 messages. To request a quota increase, you can submit a support request. In the case when you have to use FIFO and you want an increase in this particular limit. Without batching, FIFO queues support up to 300 API calls per second per API method. That is send message, receive message or delete message. It also guarantees that message will be delivered exactly once and remains available until a consumer processes and deletes it. Duplicates aren't introduced into the queue. Also, it maintains the order of messages flow. That is, the order in which messages are sent and received is strictly preserved. Best use cases would be where requirement is to process the message in the right order. Few examples are ensure that user entered commands are executed in the right order, or display the correct product price by sending price modification in the right order. Prevent a student from enrolling in a course before registering for an account. So all these use cases or example that you see in this ordered are very important. So in such cases you can utilize FIFO queues. First in, first out. Let's talk about some noteworthy terms that are useful while you are working with SQS queues. The first one is receipt handle. With every message you receive a receipt handle that is required while you are deleting the message, as you need to pass this when you are deciding to delete the message. If the message is redelivered on the queue, then it will have a different value of receipt handle and you need to provide the current value of the delete to deleting the message. Sequence number. This is a random number that is assigned to each message from AWS SQS. Message metadata. If you need to pass some custom data, that can be done using message attributes. These are different from message body. Cost allocation tag. You can use cost allocation tags to organize your AWS bill to reflect your own cost structure. As we discussed in the beginning, that SQS works on polling mechanism. Now there are two kinds of polling that can be used. Default one is short polling. In that case, SQS samples a subset of servers and return messages only from those servers. And there are chances that no messages will be returned, even messages are available. This term is referred as false empty response. There won't be any wait time and response will be returned right away, even if no messages are retrieved. Another option is long polling, where you set the value of wait time and that will be the polling time, and it will respond once it received a message or polling time expires. This eliminates the false empty response scenario. One important term related to SQS that is very critical to understand is visibility timeout. When a consumer receives and processes a message from a queue, the message remains in the queue. Amazon SQS doesn't automatically delete the message because Amazon SQS is a distributed system. There's no guarantee that the consumer actually receives the message. For example, due to connectivity issue or due to issue in the consumer application. Thus, the consumer must delete the message from the queue after receiving and processing it. Immediately after a message is received, it remains in the queue. To prevent other consumers from processing the message again from the queue, Amazon SQS set a visibility timeout, a period of time during which Amazon SQS prevents other consumers from receiving and processing the message. The default visibility timeout of a message is 30 seconds. The minimum is 0 seconds and the maximum you can set is up to 12 hours. So if message is not deleted from the queue and visibility timeout expire, then message will reappear on the queue to be processed by receivers. Now as we understand the concept of visibility timeout, let's discuss the message lifecycle. So in the below diagram, there are three different steps. In step 1, a producer sends a message A to a queue and the message is distributed across Amazon SQS server redundantly. Now in step 2, when a consumer is ready to process message, it consumes that message from the queue and message A is returned and visibility timeout clock start. While message A is processed, it remains in the queue and isn't returned to subsequent receiver request for the duration of the visibility timeout. In step 3, the consumer deletes message A from the queue to prevent the message from being received and processed again when the visibility timeout expires. So this should be an ideal life cycle for a message on a SQS queue. Let's talk about some special type of queues. In that letter queue, sometimes message can't be processed because of a variety of possible issues, such as erroneous condition within the producer or consumer application, or an unexpected state change that causes the issue with your application code. For example, if a user places a web order with a particular product ID, but the product ID is deleted, then web store code fails and displays an error, and the message will for that order request is sent to a dead letter queue. If the source queue has a read write policy with max receive count set to 5, and the consumer of the source queue receive a message 6 times without ever deleting it, Amazon SQS move the message to the dead letter queue. If a regular queue is a standard queue, then the dead letter queue should also be a standard queue, and the same applies in case of a FIFO queue. The second type of queue that we should discuss here is a delay queue. It lets you postpone the delivery of the new messages to a queue for a number of seconds. For example, when your consumer application need additional time to process messages. If you create a delay queue, any message that you send to the queue remains invisible for the consumer for the duration of the delay period. The default delay for a queue is 0 second, and this is the minimum value, and the maximum is for 15 minutes. Let's discuss some important points with respect to Solution Architect Associate exam. If in a question you see mention of decoupling of application or asynchronous solution, then you should consider SQS as a solution option. You might get a scenario where type of polling plays a significant role. So understand the difference of short and long polling is very important. Both the standard and FIFO queues have specific use cases. So pros and cons of both the queues type should be clear. This will help to select the correct answer. Visibility timeout is important concept that should be clear. Maximum message size for an SQS queue is 256 KB. So if there is some scenario where bigger size messages needed to be handled, then in that case you can pass the message pointer in SQS and actual message can be stored in S3 or DynamoDB. Please keep note for this scenario. Message retention period is between 1 minute and 14 days. So if question demands to store the message for more than 14 days, then without doubt you can eliminate the option which has SQS as solution. You can also set the priority on a queue. So if there is a scenario where you have a regular user and you have privileged user, regular and privileged customer for your application, and you want that the request from your privileged customer process first and then from the regular customer. In that case, you can set a priority queue for your privileged customer, and that is the solution. So these are the few important and useful exam tips that you should keep in mind from SQS perspective before writing the exam. So guys, here our discussion ends. If you think this video helped you with AWS certification journey, then please like the video and subscribe to my channel for more videos on AWS certification preparation. If you have any feedback or looking for covering any topic, please comment and I will create a video on the topic. Thanks for watching. Bye.